Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now, here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
Welcome to Whitetail Rendezvous Podcast, episode number 258.
Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. This is your host, Bruce Hutchin. And today we're heading north of the border and we're going to meet up with Hani, Mourra. Now, Hani is something special and you're going to want to pay attention to the show. I know when I did the show, I had lots of notes because he's a software engineer. What does that mean to you? Well, a lot of you guys and gals are out there making videos, posting them to YouTube, and maybe have a WordPress blog or website, and all these things are right in Hani's wheelhouse. What he does is help people just like you and me build their client list, build their email list, build their customer listening base he creates plugins that go into WordPress. It's going to be an awesome show. You're going to learn a lot, and it's going to help you become better at what you're trying to do in the outdoor industry. So sit back, listen, take notes, and let me hear what you think about the show. Hey, listeners, don't forget to text 33444 Food Plot for your free Food Plot ebook. Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. This is your host, Bruce Hutchin, and we're heading north of the border, and we're going to meet up with Hani, Mourra. Now, Hani is a software entrepreneur. Check that one out. He's a podcast movement speaker and the creator of 4 WordPress plugins. What does this all have to do with Whitetail Rendezvous? A heck of a lot. And Hani's going to talk to you about all the points that he can help you develop your brand, your presence in social media. Hani, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Bruce. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Hey, Hani, you know, a couple of months ago, you and I were talking about the challenge, and explain to the folks what your challenge is and why you get involved with that.
Yeah, so there's a challenge going around the internet. I've heard about it before, but it's bring awareness to veterans. There's a stat, a very disturbing stat. 22 veterans commit suicide every single day due to mental illness. So people were trying to bring awareness, especially on Facebook. And so somebody, I'm not sure who, came up with a 22 push-ups for 22 days challenge. And you post these videos on Facebook and you nominate people. And the whole point is to bring awareness that there is an issue out there and that people need to be aware of. So I got involved from Mark Asquith from Podcast Websites nominated me, and I took on the challenge. Actually, my wife joined me as well. She took on the challenge with me.
Why is that important to you? People, think about the United States. They don't think about Canada, and the same problem is germane up there. So, let's talk about that part of you, and then we'll jump into the software side.
Absolutely. I mean, whatever the issue is, this happened to be about veterans, but whatever it is, whatever you as a person can offer any kind of value, even if it's just as simple as building awareness about something, I'm all for it. I'm the kind of person who just wants to help people in any way I can. And push-ups, even though, don't sound very difficult, they are a little difficult, but that's not the point. The point is just to put yourself out there and help people whenever you can. That's the way I looked at it.
Yeah, and we all got stories. And in the warm-up, I shared one extensively. And folks, if you haven't come alongside one veteran, guy or gal, in your community, I know there's one person within a mile where every person lives that's hearing my voice right now. There's no question about it. And a simple, hey, let's grab a cup of coffee. Let's have a beer. Hey, let's go out and play some golf. Let's go do this. These people need you, even though you think they don't. Every single one of them needs you to get out of your own sandbox, get into theirs, and spend some time. It doesn't take a lot of time, but you might be the most important person in her life. Why? Because I had a friend that I would not take to the range. I would not put a loaded gun in his hand. Why? you know the answer to that. And it's real. And so whatever you can do as an individual, as a couple, as a family, come alongside a veteran. If you're uncomfortable, so what? They need you more than you could ever believe. So that's my thought on that. Hani, your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you're doing a human to human favor. Like you're helping somebody in need who needs something, needs your attention, needs to build awareness about there's issues in this world that people need to be aware of that I didn't know about this until somebody nominated me for this challenge. And just being there for somebody, just lending an ear is of tremendous value.
And so with that, I want to thank all our veterans, everybody that served, guys and gals, and there's a bunch of you out there. And I can't say everybody's name because I'll leave somebody out, and I really don't want to do that. But you know who you are, and I want to say thank you for your service, and reach out to me, Whitetail Rendezvous at gmail.com, to send me an email and say, hey, Bruce, can we chat or whatever? I've got a couple of people that call me Uncle Bruce because we've developed that relationship, and I'm enriched by that. And it costs you nothing; it costs you little time. But think about that. I'm sure Hani would echo the same thoughts.
Absolutely, yeah. I'm here to listen. I'm here, to be a friend to anybody I meet. Like I meet people for the first time, and email's open. I don't get my cell phone out, obviously, but email is a great way to reach out and start conversations.
Hey, while we're bringing that, I usually bring it up later in the show, but tell people how to get a hold of you.
Oh, absolutely. I just made a simple page on HaniMourra.com. It's HANIMOURRA. And it just has my email, Facebook, and my Twitter account, and it just lists kind of what I'm up to, like what products I've created and stuff like that. So, kind of single point of contact, and I'm happy to hear back from anybody listening to this show or who hears about this show.
And thanks for that, and thanks, Hani, for joining us. Now let's get in to the second part of why Hani's on the show. Is that he has really developed some WordPress plugins. He's a software entrepreneur. Just say, what does a software entrepreneur really do, Hani?
It's just softwarepreneur. It's kind of a term I made up. And basically, software is a tool, right? It's just a tool. It's like a hammer, just like anything else. This just happens to be the tool that I enjoy using to solve problems. So I solve problems with software. That's basically it.
And so what kind of problems do you solve?
Yeah, so my focus, ever since 2009, when I first started video blogging, is I've always been passionate about video and media. Like when you connect with somebody, when you create content on media, whether it's video, podcasting, any kind of media that's not just text, you're introducing a new dimension. You kind of build a better relationship with the listener because they can hear you and potentially see you more than just reading your text. So I loved video in the beginning, and then I got into podcasting and now live broadcasting. But the whole point of my tools is just two things: to save you time. So it's an automatic publishing tool, and I'll cover a little bit more about that later. But it's a publishing tool, and it's also saving you time and also getting you to grow your audience and your email list. Two very important things: time and growing your email list. So my tools take one step away from your production flow. So it takes a video right off of YouTube and puts it on your website. It takes your podcast and puts it on your website for you automatically. So it automates that step of getting your content and media onto your website.
Now, listeners, I know a lot of you're shooting your hunts, you're filming, you're doing a lot of video. And many times people ask me, how do you do it? And folks, the effort it's been to build Whitetail Rendezvous on my shoulders. And I'm still nowhere near. But with tools that Hani has given me, Mark Asquith with podcast website, I built it. And I got to give a shout out to John Lee Dumas and Kate Erickson. They've been super supportive in the beginning of my journey, and they still keep their ear in the water and help me when they can. But the thing is that you need to the right tools. If you're going to build something, build it with the right tools. You get a solid foundation, and then who knows where your business is going to go. But from the start, Hani, what should the people who are doing filming? Everybody films their hunts. They get an HD camera. They get an arm that they put it on. They get a Bluetooth clicker. Blah 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 blah. So technology has made this filming extremely easy. So if there's a guy with some great content, video content, what should he be doing? And let's, if you can, take the next 5 or 10 minutes and tell him, okay, here's how you bring it to market. Here's how you bring it to your audience.
Absolutely. Especially video. It's one of my favorite topics. So to me, video is a way of communicating. It's telling a story or solving a problem. There's a lot of different types of videos. So you have to, I guess, stepping back a bit, understand what your listeners want to hear or want to watch. Like, what are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to get people to listen to your podcast? Are you trying to sell them some hunting equipment? Kind of understand your goal and then think about or research what kind of questions people may have about that particular area that you're interested in. Like, what's the best gear for hunting? I'm not a hunter, so I may ask the silliest questions, but thinking out loud, like, what kind of, when it's really cold in the winter, what's the best kind of boots to wear or best kind of gun to use? Think of questions that a beginner may be asking and make very short and very specific videos that answer that one question. So having one long video is less productive than having 5 or 6 really short videos that are very specific, that solve or answer a specific question. So that's my advice for creating content. Understand your audience, learn about your audience, or if you already have an audience or listener base or a viewer base, ask them via email, via surveys. Try to find out what their kind of burning questions are and make a video or multiple videos to answer those specific questions. So it's all about that. It's like you're talking, it's like you're reading their mind and you're answering their questions. So they're telling you what they want, and you make a video on how to do that or how to achieve that. And another thing you want to do is add, after answering the question, add a little bit of a story to it, because humans connect to each other because of stories. Stories are very important. If you just tell somebody, here, go buy these boots, okay, it's kind of boring. But if you tell them a little bit of the story, I've used these boots and I did this, and you give background about yourself, just get the human factor, the story factor built into your videos so that people can actually connect with you. Like when they're watching you, they're like, oh, what is this guy doing? But, oh, this guy's interesting. So, be yourself, tell stories, and solve a problem or answer a question. Those are kind of the kind of videos that I find are most effective, especially when you put those videos on YouTube, which is highly, highly recommended. So in terms of the content itself, those are kind of my quick tips on creating content. Then I guess in your next steps are getting this content everywhere, right? Once you have a piece of content sitting on your computer or your camera, then what? The whole world needs to see it. You want to get it in the right viewer's eyes. So first, the simplest way is get it on YouTube. But don't just sit there, upload a video on YouTube. You need to do a little bit of homework. So you need to there's actually a free tool called Google Keyword Tool. And it's just Google it. I don't know the exact link, but Google Keyword Tool. You have to log in with your Gmail and stuff. But it's a free tool that will kind of do keyword research. And basically what you're trying to do here is you're trying to find a few kind of words that are highly searched on Google or on YouTube, and add those words in your title and in your description when you upload that video to YouTube. So what that does is it helps your video get found when someone's searching. What are the best boots for hunting in Alaska? Or you're optimizing one video to answer one question, and you have the right words that people are actually searching for. So Google will tell you how many times this word has been searched. So you can get ideas for how to craft your title and how to use those words, 1 or 2 keywords in your YouTube description. That's very important.
I wish we had a video right now. We could just type it in. I haven't figured out how to do video because it takes so much bandwidth, and I don't have that capability to start doing Skype on video. But that would be interesting to do, and so that's like search engine optimization. You're making your your title, very easily to pop up. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah. You're making it easy to pop up on YouTube, because YouTube is probably the number, don't quote me on stats, but it's up there as a top search engine. Like, people go to YouTube to find answers. I go to YouTube to find out why my air conditioner is not blowing cold air. It happened this summer. It's been pretty bad. So I go to YouTube for answers, and that's what you want. If your videos are solving or answering a question, then you want to put the right keyword or keywords in there, in your title, in your description, and also in the tags, what YouTube called tags, when you upload that video. So it's not enough to just upload a video and just say, hey, this is a video of these really cool boots, that it's not going to be found. No one's going to watch it. No one's going to find it. So, optimization is important when you do your YouTube videos, and also when you put the video on your website as well. You want your website to be optimized with the same keywords as well.
So you married the two. So when I do my podcast, that podcast's website, when I load it and build it, they have tools, and I think you created, where the SEO pops up. I get a green light, I'm green to go. If I don't get the green light, I got work to do. It's that kind of
That's
true?
Exactly. Yeah. I didn't create. I wish I did create that tool. I give good credits to Mark and his team and Kieran at podcast websites. But that's exactly what it is. Those are the tools are telling you, do you have enough? Are you using this keyword enough times in your page without overusing it? Because it sounds really bad when you just keep saying, whatever keyword it is, you see it over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. It just sounds like you're stuffing keywords, and Google does not like that. So you have to be natural with how you use the keywords. But there are tools that will guide you. It will tell you if you're doing too little or too much.
So let's talk about WordPress. So here's Bruce, and I've got lacrosse boots, but I went to University of La Crosse to school, graduated from there with a degree in business, blah blah blah. And lacrosse was right there, and some of my friends worked there in the summer. So I've had lacrosse boots forever, and they're one of the best in the business, no question about it. So if somebody wants to say, hey Bruce, what are the best boots, they email me or whatever on Whitetail Rendezvous. The thing I should do is to say, okay, I'm going to do a video. How long should that video be, and how long shouldn't it be?
These are all guidelines, but my suggestion is pick one topic, like answer one question in the video. Don't try to talk about boots and guns and equipment. Just focus that one video on one topic, one answer. And I would say anywhere from like a minute to 2 minutes to 3 minutes, depending. But the key is the beginning. The key is to capture their interest in the beginning. Because if they're not going to last the first 10 seconds, they're not like, then your video can be as short or as long as you want. No one's going to watch it. So you got to capture their interest. And another good tip is to actually give the answer in the beginning. Like, don't try to hide the answer, because some people will say, oh, this guy's kind of leading me on. I don't have time to watch this. I'm going to try another video to find my answer. So kind of address the question in the first like 10, 15 seconds and give the answer. And then elaborate on that and give more details and reasons why it's so good, and show the boot and talk about its why it's actually a great boot. But don't hold off on it's almost like the opposite of what you would think. You'd think, oh, I want to keep them hanging on till the end and I'll give them what they want. But you want to give them what they want in the beginning, right in the beginning, the first 10 seconds, so they know they're in the right place. They know they Googled or they searched on YouTube and they found the right video. And if you don't do that, they'll just think, that's not, my answer is not here. I'm going to look for another video.
That's interesting, folks. So no matter what you're trying to share, 160, 120, no longer than 180 seconds, but tell the people your answer. So tell them what you're going to tell them, show them what you're going to show them, and then tell the answer all in the first 10 seconds. That's talking real fast, even for me. But Hani knows his stuff. He knows his craft. This is what he does for a living. And if you ever go to podcast movement, any of you guys and gals out there ever want to become a podcaster, pretty much that's the show or the conference you need to go to, correct?
Oh yeah, it's so much value and it's a lot of fun too.
Great. So let's talk about, okay, so we got the videos. And then how do I build a collection and how do I get it into my WordPress site? So I'm going to build an archive. I'm thinking of Wire to Hunt and, J Scott and J Scott out east and J Scott out west and all these guys. They have huge archives and they got videos and all this. How do we keep that straight?
Yeah. So let's start on the YouTube side. So I tend to tell people if you're doing video, just stick with YouTube. Don't complicate it. YouTube's owned by Google. It's the number one YouTube video search engine. So just stick with YouTube. I'm a fan of keeping things simple. Like I have my YouTube channel, just Hani Mourra /youtube.com/Hani Mourra. But then what I do is I talk about different topics, kind of related, but I do playlists. So YouTube lets you make a playlist. So if I'm doing one on a hunting series, I can just, make a playlist. And then you just upload your videos to YouTube. You shoot them on your phone, on your camera, do some basic editing, upload, do that title description, and make sure you research your keywords. And then you can just tell it, I want this video to fall under this particular playlist. If you want to have a dedicated YouTube channel and you don't want to make playlists, you can just put them all under the same channel. You can do it either way. There's no right or wrong answer, but you want to keep the content kind of grouped together. So if you're talking about hunting on one YouTube channel, then you start talking about SEO and marketing on the same channel, people may get confused. They have different audiences. So my topics are similar. So I have one YouTube channel, but I do have playlists. And the beauty of playlists is that when they watch one, it's going to recommend the other one. So they could almost like watch, like watching a Netflix series. So that's getting your content on YouTube. And then one thing I forgot to mention, every YouTube video, you want the people to take action at the end of the video. And the action, most of the time, if not all the time, is for them to come to your website. So you need to make a call to action in your video right at the end. Say, if you've enjoyed this video, come to hanimourra.com and you will get XYZ. So give them motivation to come to your site and to get something. Here's where you want them to send them to a page where they can leave their email address. So you get to collect their email address and have future conversations with them. So I kind of said a lot of things in there, but the whole point is YouTube is a channel for getting found, getting discovered, but you need to tell people to send people to your website. And another tip for that is in the description itself, you can actually put a link to your website. Typically, I put it in the first line. So I can say, and get more at Hani Mourra, http://hanimourra.com. And when you do that, that link is actually clickable. So people can click off of YouTube in the description and go to your website.
What type of things am I going to give there? Like I'm a podcast, so naturally when I put stuff up, whitetailrendezvous.com, listen to the newest episode, click here, gone. And so they're there. And then I am building affiliate pages where some of my guests have great products and I have used them, believe in them. So I'm saying, hey, if you want these products, go to it. And I become an affiliate and pennies and nickels and dimes. Because in the end, this is a business. There's no question. Whitetail Rendezvous, folks, is a business. And as I grow and trust and credibility, you're going to have lots of opportunities to get great stuff or hear great stuff, or just like Hani's sharing, listen to great content. So if you're not listening, if you haven't come up on iTunes and rated review and downloaded that, so it comes to your desktop, your handset every day, please do that. So, Hani, getting back to you. So, what I just heard, a call to action. So I get a video, I get YouTube. I'm doing a really good job about talking about tree stands. I'm really good job about talking about hinge cutting, food plots. And now I want to learn how, to really put out great content and draw them to my website, because I'm got a huge archive of hunting mature bucks. So how do I capture all that?
You can do it a few ways. You can send people, like you want to send people to your website. So there's kind of two ways to do this. You can send them to what people commonly known as a landing page. It was just a sales page or a squeeze page, different terminology. Basically, it's a page where people, all they can do is leave you offer them something of value, whether it's some kind of checklist or some kind of tool or some kind of tip They leave their email, and then you deliver that via email. Another way is to actually take that video on YouTube and embed it as a blog post on your blog. And what you can do is you can have a little more details down there. You can add maybe an affiliate link to the product on Amazon. You can do more things and get more descriptive on it on your blog. And then you can tell people they can learn more by visiting your blog, and you can send them to your blog, the blog post as well. Either way, whether it's a squeeze page or the blog post, you need to have an email opt-in form on your blog or on that page, on the squeeze page. So the main intention is to get them to your site to sign up for something. So you got to know what your audience wants, and if you don't know, you can kind of try a few things and see what resonates with them. But you want to offer something, and honestly, the shorter the better. Like if you want to write this 100-page manual on how to go hunting in Alaska, no one's going to read it. But if you offer some kind of checklist, say, hey, before you leave, here's a checklist of the things make sure you packed before your 22-day trip. It's a 1-page PDF. Sign up here and you'll get the PDF in your inbox. So you got to be a little creative on what kind of value you can add, but something that's very easy to consume, because people don't want homework.
Right. And you've heard Hani say it a couple times. One of the main assets that you're going to get for your brand, for your product, for your video is to capture email addresses, and not to sell them anything, but start to develop a relationship.
Yes.
Hani, your thoughts?
Absolutely. That's the exact phrase. I love that. Start developing a relationship. No one's going to buy from you if they just watched a YouTube video and they come to your site and then they don't know you that well enough to buy. So you need to build that trust. You need to build that trust with them. And the way you do that is you get them on your email list by giving them more value. Once they're on your list, you have an email sequence of 4 or 5 emails that offer more value, more tips. So you're just giving. And then if you have a product or a service, then maybe in the 6th email, maybe in the 7th email, down the email chain, days or weeks later, then you can say, I know this is your problem. You have this kind of problem, or you're interested in this. We have a solution for it. So the idea is not to do a video, get a sale. The idea is do a video, get them to your site. On your site, get them on your email list. Once they're on your email list, give them more value. And then once they get to know you, get to know that you're the expert in your field, or you know what you're talking about, and you offer great content, and I trust you, then you can offer them a product or a service that you have, or an affiliate product or a service that they may be interested in.
I hope you'll listen to this, because this is how you build your brand. And a lot of you say, hey, I want to be syndicated, get on the outdoor channel, the sportsman channel, whatever. But in the meantime, you can develop revenue streams because you develop long-term relationships. And like I said earlier, some of the people out there, some of my guests and some of my friends through the podcast call me Uncle Bruce. Well, that didn't come overnight, folks. That's a long-term relationship. And we've been in business now. I launched August 31st, 2015, and 68,000 people have listened to the show. I wish I had 68,000 email addresses, but I haven't. Hani, maybe you need to, every time they click in iTunes, I get their email.
I would be a gazillionaire if I can do that.
Oh, well, I'll go partners with you.
There we go. I love it.
I shouldn't say that. I'll just. Hello?
Yeah. Sorry, you were cutting out for a second.
Yeah, I just hit the mic off the desk. I was getting excited. Because, folks, yes, I do hunt, and I'll be hunting Wisconsin and a number of places, Buffalo County, and then I'm heading down to Kentucky to do some whitetail hunting. So, yes, that costs money. So, yes, sooner or later, my wife wants me to cash flow this thing. Oh, I digress. But, when you look at everything that's out there, and how easy is WordPress? Kind of give us a primer on that, because some people, they're going, okay, do I want to jump into another part of things that I don't know? And folks, I did, and this is a result of it. And so if I can do it, believe me, at 70 years old, you sure as heck can do it, because you can do everything right off your smartphone. So Hani, talk to us about WordPress.
WordPress. I love WordPress. All my tools, they're called plugins. Basically, they're add-ons for WordPress, so they won't work outside of WordPress. But I've been using WordPress for all my blogs from 2009 onwards. I've tried other platforms. They don't compare. Now, WordPress is not perfect. Don't get me wrong. It's not perfect. If you're just starting and you haven't made a website before, WordPress is free, by the way, to get set up. You need just basic hosting. But the point is, you may need some help getting it set up. And there's a lot of people that can help you. There's a lot of services that can help you. But the beauty of WordPress is there's a lot of videos out there. You can do it yourself. But if you don't want to, get someone to help you set it up. But once it's set up, that's where it's fun. You can create content by yourself, as simple as almost like logging into your Gmail and typing in an email, and you put a subject line, you put the text, and you hit send. It's a very similar interface. You just log into your web, you open up the Chrome, you go to your website.com/this, make a new page, put a title, description. So it's the setup that can be tricky, finding the right style, the look of it that you want, but you can get help setting that up. But the beauty is, once you have it set up, then it's really easy to manage and maintain your own content. You don't need someone to post content for you.
Now, a third party like Podcast Website, Mark and Karen over there, what did they provide people with?
They provide a lot. Like they're tailored for podcasters. So one thing about whether you're doing a video or podcast is you never want to host that video on your own site. It's going to really put a load on your website, and your site will be slower and doesn't rank as well on Google, etc. So typically you host your audio and video somewhere else. So typically YouTube, if you're doing videos, and you don't put the video on your site, you put the video on YouTube, and then you put the player on your site. There's a subtle difference there. So all the work is being done on YouTube, and you're just getting all the benefits on your site. For podcasts, same thing. So podcast websites, they've made it very super simple to just host your audio and create your content all in one place. What looks like one place, like one page on your site, but they have the right servers and technology to manage that for you, and so that you don't have to worry about your server slowing down, and if you get like a big spike in downloads for your audio, you're not going to see it on your site. Like it looks simple up front, but they have the infrastructure in the back. That's just one piece of it. They offer support. You can, if you have any questions, typically you have to hire companies and pay them, up to $50 a month if you want like ongoing support for WordPress support. They come with these beautiful looking, what they call themes, like your skins for your site, the way it looks. Those are not free as well. If you were to do it yourself, they come included when you come with podcast websites. So there's a lot of solutions out there, but podcast websites, if you are doing a podcast and you don't want to even tinker with getting a website set up and getting hosting and domain and getting support, like monthly support, anytime you want something, you have somebody right there, then podcast website is a fantastic solution.
And thanks for that shout out for them. And unbelievably, we got about 2 minutes left on the show, Hani, and thank you again so much. So why don't you take it and share with the listeners, the people important to you, the people that helped you along the way, and whatever else you want to share or give shout outs to.
Yeah, I give a shout out to my family first, especially my wife, and just for believing in me and supporting me throughout this journey. Like when I started, it was just a blog in 2009 and didn't really know where I was going. And then a couple of years later, it became a business and started creating software. So, there's a tough times, but family's there to support me. My kids are always cheering me up, are always actually taking interest in podcasting and video. My older daughter, she's 7.5, and it gets me excited knowing that she sees me working on this stuff and she wants to learn about it. So big shout out to my kids as well, and big shout out to my podcast. I call it my podcast family. Like, got to know a lot of people. I actually got to hang out with one of my good friends now that I met just a few months ago and spend the weekend with him in Toronto. Happened to be doing a conference here, and just the people in the podcasting space. I don't know what it is about people who podcast, but I go to these conferences and I feel like everyone's a friend there, like almost family there, and people that I've never met before. I've exchanged conversations over email, over Facebook. We see each other. It's almost like we've been friends for years. So big shout out to my podcast family for always supporting me and just for being friends and always there.
Hani Mourra, on behalf of all our thousand of listeners, and we are the fastest growing whitetail podcast in North America. Thank you so much for sharing some insights about how our listeners can grow. And again, let them know if they want to get a hold of you. What's the quickest way?
Yeah, quickest way is HaniMourra.com.
Thank you for that. And again, thank you for accepting the challenge and supporting a group of people, a whole generation of people that need our help. So again, thank you, sir.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me, Bruce.
Hey, folks, this is Bruce Hutchin, your host at Whitetail Rendezvous. And stay tuned for the next episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. I'm talking with Brian Sparks. He's the owner of Nelson Creek Outdoors and the Lucky 7 brand. It's a brand that is cover-up scents and center tractors that I've used over the last couple of years, and it's brought in bucks. 3 different farms last year, brought in bucks. I just didn't bring in Mr. Wonderful. And to me, that's a mature buck, 4.5 years old or older. Never came in, but I had lots of 2.5, 3.5-year-old bucks working the scrapes that the Lucky 7 brand took care of. So stay tuned for the next episode.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.